Hi everyone, this is Isatis. I'm very excited to be with you here today because yesterday was a massive energetic day on our planet. And I am here today to speak about a macro view of the 12117 rallies and marches. Now, I know many of you were actually in the marches and rallying out there, and some of you were observing, and some of you didn't care, and some of you had a lot of judgments about it, and some of you had a lot of feelings about it. Regardless of what it was, I am here today to share with you a macro view. So I'm going to warn you right off the bat that this is going to be like from many stories up. This is going to be a different perspective than most people have been putting on Facebook or speaking to each other about. Here's the deal. What goes on our planet, let's go back one more step. We live on a planet that is a polarity-based planet, right? Can everybody agree that we have black, white, up, down, good, bad, right, wrong? Everything seems to be one. We have two hands, we have two eyes, we have two ears, we have two nostrils. You know, we have two of pretty much everything. And the planet is also based on an energetic value where we have what you can call the male energy or the yang, which is kind of an assertive, strong energy. And then we also have the energy that is called yin by some, which is more of a female energy. It's a little more quiet or a little more passive. That's where the artistic part comes from, not nearly as assertive or aggressive as the male energy. So we're starting to establish an understanding here, right? We've got male, female, right, left, all of these kinds of things. Our entire planet is set up that way. When you take this into consideration, take the next step and understand that we also have a planet that is driven by the balance of these two energies. And what I'm going to discuss today is the fact that the Earth is a living entity. It is an energy because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Well, consider that the Earth is a living entity, a living energy. And based on that, it is also trying to balance itself, just like we are always trying to balance ourselves. Well, in doing that, it is the Earth is actually being at effect of how many people are feeling yippee and how many people are feeling really not so good. And is it positive or is it negative, if you will? And so it responds accordingly. I know this might be a stretch for some of you, but just stay open and ask yourself, what if what she is saying has some validity? What if this would better understand in my mind, or help me better understand in my mind, why things go the way they go? So I'm going to speak about some practical things a little bit, but I'd like to give you a foundation of understanding, because the way I see life is from here. And I also see that there's values that come down to that are very grounded and very practical. But every once in a while, I like to take you up to a bigger viewpoint and then help you understand how to get down to a day-to-day place. So this is a kind of a big vision for many of you. Some of you, it's nothing. Oh, I've been there, done that, heard that. Okay, that's cool, whatever it is for you. But the bottom line is all of these people, hundreds of thousands, actually I heard a report that there's over 2 million people marching yesterday out there saying what it is that they wanted to say and feeling and expressing what it was that they wanted to do. I want to stop for a moment and thank all of you for sharing this. For those of you that are on here now or when I'm complete, please share this with as many people as you can, because many people have really looked at what was going on yesterday as something that wasn't really awesome. The truth is, everything in life is awesome. And sometimes we think we're fighting for something, but it's really a much bigger picture. So we've got the big picture of understanding that the Earth is a living entity. It is also balancing itself with the positive and negative, or the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. And what it's really trying to do is bring up the yin. Now, if you go back in history, you know that women have really been rather submissive. They've been suppressed. They, as a group of people, have actually been in a place where they haven't really been had a lot of freedom. And we can go back to when they couldn't vote and they couldn't drink and they couldn't do all these other things. And over time, that sector of society, the female sector, has gone through and raised themselves up, evolved, if you will, to a place where they are a lot more open. In this day and age, it's a lot more open, a lot more capable, a lot more equal, if you will. Well, that means that if the male and the female is more equal, then that means that we're getting a little bit more balance, but it's not there yet. There is still a lot of preference and a lot of bias to women, just as there is about color, just as there is about race, just as there is about political choices, just as there is about everything. So every time you see that, you know that we're still dealing with that diversity. We're still dealing with that polarity. It's not good, not bad, not right, not wrong. I'll say that a lot. But rather, if you look at what's happening and you have a better understanding about it, then perhaps it will help you just kind of quiet down. And what does this mean? It means that we are in a place where we are able to make a difference in our own lives. Because remember, every little makes a big. Every little makes a big. So every little thing that you do makes a bigger thing. Every little thing I do makes a big. Because what we're doing is we're collectively gathering our energies in a yin or a yang position. In other words, a male or a female. And when we recognize that, we are able to make a difference in the world. So all these rallies that were going on everywhere in the world. I mean, I saw London and Australia and lots of places. It's because that yin energy is trying to rise up. And simultaneously, what it means is the male energy is not going to be quite so in control of the planet and of the people and all of these things. So we have a huge thing going on right now on our planet that is saying, we're going to fight, we're going to battle, we're going to go through all of this, and we're going to get to the top. So a lot of women are feeling very strong about how they feel that they need to stand up for themselves. That's okay, because that level of suppression that is actually in our DNA is rising, and there's a strength that's coming up. I'll tell you, I've had like 3 conversations in the last few days with people that weren't necessarily even involved in the rallies and all of these things that were going on. But what they were doing is describing to me in their own personal relationships what was going on. One woman, she said, I am just not taking this anymore. I am not going to let my husband abuse me physically, emotionally, or mentally ever again. It's like there's a strength that came up. And someone else said something very similar. I'm not letting him take care of the business or the money because he just doesn't do it in a way that's productive and really brings us what we want in our relationship and in our household and all of those kinds of things. I could tell you lots of stories, and people aren't necessarily thinking this up. It's happening. It's happening in our world as a collective. It's happening because the purpose is that we are looking at how to balance our world. The earth, the world in general, is looking for a balance of the male, female, yin, yang, and all of those parts of us that have been so out of balance. So what it really means on a practical level for you, if you're a woman and you've been a little bit suppressed, you might find that coming up inside of you and wanting to just get bold. Well, my support to you is don't get nasty and don't get violent, but rather feel it inside yourself and say, I know who I am. I know what it is that I'm committed to. And find the courage to speak more honestly. Remember that your communication must be with a sense of ownership and mastery and not one of blame. You don't attack people. You don't make other people wrong. You be a master of who you are. Because if you do not, then you're just going to start another battle. The friction is going to cause you struggle and pain and difficulty in your life. So learn effective communication. Stick with the I and give up the you. Give up the you did this to me and this happened to me, and rather say, wow, I've had the experience of, and this is how I'm going to deal with it like a true master. And if you are a man, what happens is you get the opportunity to open up your heart, live a little bit more from your heart, have a little more compassion for what's really going on. Now, I know most of you men that are listening to this, have that already started, and perhaps you have that really balanced inside yourself, and that is really awesome. But there's a lot of people in the world that are not at that place yet. So what can you do? What can you all individually do? Support each other. Support yourself. Support the men in your life, women. And men, support the women in your life, and really have a lot more compassion and openness, and look at how to reach that place where you both have an even stance in the world. You might have certain characteristics and skill sets that are better, if you will, than the other person. So allow that to be. And it might not be according to what society says it's supposed to be. But look at your life. Review what's going on for you. And ask yourself what it is that you really want. If the ultimate goal is peace, if the ultimate goal is love, if the ultimate goal is joy and abundance and a life that you love to live, then take some time and contemplate how you be in the world and how you would like to see this world be. Because all these rallies and all these marches and all these things that are occurring are not bad. They're not good. It is a reach for us all to find a place where we are more balanced, we're more harmonious, and we're living a life, again, that we truly love to live. Thank you for sharing this with as many people as you possibly can. It's so appreciated that we spread these kinds of thoughts around the world from my viewpoint, because in doing that, we have an opportunity to all raise our viewpoint to a higher, a more macro view. And when we see things from up here, we no longer feel like a mouse that has to fight for its life. We know who we are. If you would like to know more about the things that I teach, to do, the retreats, the coaching that I do, please private message me, send me a message on some level, and please make your comments below, because they're really helpful. It helps me know where to go next that's supporting you. Thank you all, and until next time, feel a hug.